Alright, so this aircraft stripper, I don't have gloves on right now, which I should, but I'm just going to be using this brush to put this on, this powder coating. So here's the theory. I had another one of these that I did this with. I spent, quite a bit of time, like hours, doing multiple coats and scraping off, multiple coats and scraping off, multiple coats, scraping off. Anyway, I don't want to go through all of that, but I also don't want there's some loose powder coat here. So what I'm doing is I'm going to put this stripper on, aircraft stripper on, and then let this thing kind of eat and chew up all the weak powder coat, basically, all the stuff that peels off easily. Because from doing it last time, there was like 3 different sections that I did, 3 different times, 3 or 4, just kept doing it, and the first one got the majority of it off. I'm really just looking to get all the loose stuff off, not every bit of it, and then I'll rough up what's there. So it says, let the stripper stand until finish is completely blistered or liquefied. Time will vary 20 to 45 minutes or longer. After 20 minutes, test a small area. So basically, leave it on there. I have it in the shade, to make sure that the sun doesn't dry it up and all that stuff. But I'm going to set my timer, come back out here and check it. In 20 minutes. And I'll see you then. Been 20 minutes. I'm going to check on this. I have you zoomed in so you can see that stuff swiping right off. Not all of it. There'll be some stuff that comes off easy. Some other stuff that does not. I'm not using anything real aggressive, just this to kind of see. Alright. Definitely see some stuff flaking off. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just put another coat of it on. Goal is to let the goop do its job. Alright, so I said I was just going to do one coat, but it came off pretty easily, and let's be honest, if I'm letting it do its job, and I just come out here and put the stuff on and I time it, come on, check it, another 20 minutes or so, not a lot more effort. So what I'm going to do is do this a few times, just kind of scrape a little bit, see where it isn't stuck, coat it, and then wait till the very end to really use to go after it and really use this scraper. So just letting the chemicals do their job here as much as possible, because ideally this being bare metal is the best for paint, but we want to definitely give it enough good bonding surface, and if there is some powder still on there, some powder coating still on there, I'm not going to worry about it, because if it survives this stuff, a couple coats of this, and then scraping, it's on there really good. We'll just rough it up with sandpaper, or I actually probably use the sandblaster and just blast it to give it that a nice profile to stick, for the paint to stick to. But just gonna let this do its thing, come back out and check, see what it is on round 2. Let this set for another 30 minutes. So all together that's 30, 25, 45, 30, hour and a half or so. I'm just going to use this. While it's coming off. Really nice. Better than the last time I did this. I might have found the formula. Okay. Just scrape. Scrape this powder coat on as much as we can. I'm going to get these gloves off. I'm going to put this over there. I'm going to get the pressure washer off and just pressure wash the rest of this. Make sure all this stuff is off of here. And, it's already rusty, so water isn't going to hurt it. So I'm just going to do that instead of just using the hose like I was initially going to, and see what it does. And I got to get these off because they are disintegrating. Alright, we're going to let it dry, but you can see it didn't get it all off, but a good chunk. That's the rusty stuff I was talking about. It's like they powder coated over a rusty part. I don't know what else that would be. So we'll throw this in the sandblaster to clean it up, give it a good bite for the paint, but it came cleaner than I thought it would, actually. So without a ton of effort, mostly just letting the chemicals do the work. Still some work to do, but let this thing dry off really well, and then we'll get in the blast cabinet and do that to clean up this rust and also give it a good bite, because we don't want this to be shiny right here. Paint won't stick to it, so we're going to dull it all down and see if we can get rid of the rest of this. But, not a ton of effort to get the powder coating off. Definitely the best way to do it that I found. You have this thing, the lower A-arm. We've got the powder coat off of it, most of it, and we've pressure washed it to get the remainder off, and to really get all of the stuff off that could effectively, the theory could effectively clog up the sandblaster. As I say that, I'm finding pieces that I don't want to be in there. Okay, anyway. So, now we're going to throw it in the blast cabinet and basically blast this, and this should all end up being a dull, like aluminum kind of feel. So, I'm going to do that. I have the phone set up on here because there's a big glare laying right on top, so it should give you a close-up of what this looks like. Don't get loud because I have a vacuum. I just connect the vacuum to this, and that sucks out basically the dust in the air. As you sandblast, a lot of stuff starts swirling around here. So if you have a what is it called? A dust system, a dust removal system, or whatever it is. I just have a shop vac that I plug into here and I turn on, so that's going to be going on in the background. So we'll probably not have sound on this because you'll just hear that annoying sound. But that's what I'm doing now. One of the smart things that I did, goes on the short list of smart things that I do, was I bought a long hose for the shop vac. So this thing is actually, the shop vac's actually on the other side of the garage. Just gonna stick that in there. Alright, let's see what we got here. I've replaced these gloves already once, and I don't use this thing that often. I also upgraded this gun at one point, so this camera might move around because it's just sitting on top. But giving you a close-up of what this looks like. See how nice that comes off? I'm not using sand. Silica sand has a lot of bad effects. So what I'm using is actually a metal oxide. It's pretty aggressive. I don't remember the grit or any of that stuff. Bought this stuff a long time ago. But I got a bunch of different media. They call them media, the things that go in here. And yeah, I know you're hearing all that stuff in the background from the vacuum. But see the little sparks that fly off. Because that's metal on metal, basically. I'm not worried about this stuff if it really, really sticks, because we're just painting over it. So Not too worried about that. But you can see how clean it makes that, it gets that rust off. And again, as I looked at these, even the top ones, it really seems as if they just powder coated over a rusty part, which is not cool. I really don't want to get anything in here, so I'm trying to stay away from that. And now I have the air compressor running and the vacuum, so it's nice and loud in here. This, and what I'm going to do, I'll give you the close up here in a second, but inside of these, it's really important not to have that all scuffed up or have sand in there. Not sand, but anything in there. So I'm just going to blow those out real quick. There you go. Actually, let's do it like this. Against the back, you can see it's not perfect, and you can see all this red. That's actually from sitting on the in the blast cabinet for whatever reason. I don't know why it does that. It comes off. Anyway, cheap cabinet. But you can see it's not perfect, but it's got a lot. It's mostly, almost all bare metal. For these pieces, they don't seem to be anywhere near as bad as far as the powder coating coming off. So I have some purple power on them, just a degreaser, soaking them in. I've done this once before, but I'm going to do it again. Use the pressure washer like at 0 degrees, like full charge, and just kind of get off anything that will come off easily, and then I'll know where I'm at. All right, so just wanted to show you these side by side. This is before throwing some blast in there. Now obviously some of this is dust on here, but you can tell quite a bit of a difference between the two. And we'll clean this off, but this gives you the contrast right out of the... Actually, let's just make sure we're not comparing apples to oranges. No, see, that actually is what it is. So, not prepped. I'm going to throw this one in there, do the same thing here, and then we'll wipe it down really well. And then I'll throw a coat of paint on it, a couple coats of paint on it with the same paint I'm using everywhere else. So we basically have a bare metal version, a like scuff up, blast off all the loose stuff, scuff it up, and paint it. And it's the same on both sides, on the top and the bottom, so we'll know later if we look at that which one worked and which one didn't. Or if they all worked. Hopefully they all work.